If they're looking at old pricing and then comparing their house to that, they're starting in the wrong place. It's like trying to go somewhere and you don't know where you're at that moment in time.
This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
We've seen over the last 90 days or so, we've seen a major change in our market conditions. The last 2 years from the pandemic has been, although counterintuitive, has been a crazy seller's market. It's been an outstanding seller's market, but we've seen it changing of late. What do buyers and sellers need to know about our market right now? What do they need to know?
Start with the facts of what's actually going on. This is not the time, in my opinion, well, really never with real estate, is just to go with feeling. You know, the great thing about the real estate business is they have actual statistics that you can look at that tells you what's going on. So to guess and go with your gut, it's not necessary. You know, all ships rise in high tides. And so what happens is if you have a substandard property and the market gets super hot, it's really good for those substandard properties because, hey, my property's not so great, but there's really not much left out there. My value is going to go up and you have to look at me.
Right.
That's going to change now.
Yeah.
And so substandard properties, not in, desirable areas, floor plans, amenities that just don't work, funky aspects about certain properties that they have are going to matter now because now buyers have choices. And that's a beautiful thing. Well, and those properties, you will see a decrease in price because in reality, they were never worth what they were selling for because it was just a frenzy. So when you say, well, look what's happening to those prices. Okay, it's happening to that segment of homes.
Great point.
And so you really need to look at what you're doing. Properties that were kept up with good locations, solid amenities, solid properties, you're going to see them hold their value because you're still dealing overall with lower inventory numbers than people can look at in one spotlight, where you can't just look at today only.
Sellers need to be much more conscious of the condition of their home. They have to price it right. They can't be thinking the market's continuing to go up at an incredible rate either. That's the other element that we're still seeing. Sellers haven't caught on to the idea that, oh, gee, the market's not as crazy hot as it was.
If they're looking at old pricing and then comparing their house to that, they're starting in the wrong place. It's like trying to go somewhere and you don't know where you're at that moment in time. So if they pick the wrong location that they're at now, it will skew their whole decision process and can affect the sale of their house.
Indeed. You've been listening to Las Vegas Real Estate Now. If you ever have a question about real estate or any of the other topics we cover, just call me off air or text me at 702-203-1165. You can also check us out on the web at lvrealestateradio.com or on our handle on social media at LV Real Estate Radio.